So if you're wondering whether you should get a PC or a Mac, it is so confusing out there. Today I'm going to walk you through which of these two devices I personally prefer. Heads up, I've been using a PC basically all my life. I bought myself a MacBook Air in the 16-inch about 2 years ago. So I've been using both devices for over 2 years, and I'm going to share exactly why I prefer a PC more actually. Heads up, this video is not technical. It's for you guys that, like me, when I was searching for a laptop, I really couldn't decide, and I wanted somebody that was like a normal person, not a tech geek, to give me the pros and cons of getting a Mac. So I originally bought a Mac because all of my friends were like, once you get a Mac computer, you will never go back to a PC. The feedback was that it was just a lot faster, it's cool, and you can do more things with it if you are a creative type of person. So I have a blog, I have a YouTube channel, so being able to do the best of the best creative things on my laptop was important to me. So that's why I actually got the MacBook Air. I wanted a big screen, so I got the 16-inch, and it is very beautiful. Look at it. But there are some things that I really don't like about it. Okay, so I'm gonna go through a couple of the things that I wish I had known before I got a Mac and why I personally still prefer my handy PC. Okay, so one thing is like the weight. So granted, I did get the heavier Mac. I did get the 16-inch, but at the time it was like you can get a big screen or you can get a screen that's really small. And for me, I was like, the small screen's too small, I get the big one. I'll just tell you, this sucker is like so heavy compared to my PC. I just feel like it is just too heavy for me. I found that when I was traveling on the airplane, going on trips, even just like going to a coffee shop, the Mac was just too heavy for me. And if I had gotten the smaller size Mac, it would just be too small of a screen for me. So that was the first annoyance that I had with my Mac, is that it was too heavy and I just didn't love the screen size. The next thing that I really hate about the Mac is the mouse. So I am addicted to my mouse. It allows me to do my work so much quicker. The thing about a PC is there's a place to plug in the USB right here, so I can just take this and I'm good to go, especially for working in coffee shops. The problem with the Mac is you need a docking station converter. So I found that even when I was going into coffee shops to do work or traveling, I ended up always packing my PC because this was a pain to pack. So I just really hate that about my Mac. That's probably one of my biggest complaints when I first started using the Mac that I didn't like. The second thing that I don't like is I feel like I have to baby this Mac. So I bought a very expensive cover for it and it's already cracked here, and I've actually never even taken this traveling with me, but it's cracked on the corner just from being at home. Meanwhile, my PC for work, I throw this into my bag every single day. I'm not very careful with it because it's a work laptop, but it feels very indestructible to me. So that is another thing that I love about the PC is like, I feel like I can just throw it around and it's not gonna break, whereas my Mac is very delicate. Okay, so let me tell you some things that I love about the Mac and then I'll just keep on sharing facts. Okay, so one thing I do love about the Mac is it is pretty to look at. Like when you turn it on, I feel like the screen is just so much brighter. It's just prettier to look at. The screen is just nicer looking. So I do love that about my Mac. I also love that the Mac is faster to turn off and turn on. So I feel like it's like very, very quick to turn on, which I absolutely love. I know it's only a few seconds, but when you're used to going, it's nice having a laptop that turns on and turns off quickly. Now, I did hear that the Mac would be significantly faster for doing work. So I'm not even working and I already have like 15 tabs open in Google. So I was wondering whether the Mac would be like super duper fast. Honestly, I feel like my PC is just as fast as my Mac. I can have 15 tabs open on both laptops, no problem, multiple programs. So I actually don't find the Mac to be any faster. And having done research, it seems like if you do gaming, you're actually better off getting a gaming PC than a Mac. But that's something that I like about the Mac is the screen is pretty. Okay, what else? Let's talk about photo editing. So one of the reasons I got the Mac is I have a website, a couple of websites actually, and I edit photos a ton. I am constantly cropping them, changing the size, and brightening them. So I was really excited to get a Mac because I heard that's what a lot of designers use for like Photoshop and stuff. Now I do not have Photoshop. I'm just using the version of Photos on my Mac computer to edit photos. And I'll tell you, it's a pain in the butt to edit photos on a Mac. So I found out that to edit photos, once I open the photo on my Mac here, I can't edit it right away. Like I can't automatically adjust the size. I can't auto enhance it. I can't auto change the size. I have to export it. So go to File, Export, save it to Photos, then open it, and then I can edit it, crop it, etc. But then when I go to save it, it's not just File, Save As, it's File, Export, export it, and then you can't like rename it right away. You have to save it to your desktop, then export it, and then renaming it is a pain. On my PC to rename a photo, I just right click, rename. On the Mac, you can't do that. You have to go to like double click it and then like rename the whole thing. It's just a pain. So this was one of the things that I hated about my Mac was for editing photos. It was just like multiple steps. Whereas on my PC, I could quickly crop, change the size, save, rename it, auto enhance it really, really quickly and easily. So that drives me nuts on the Mac. So is the photo editing drives me nuts, and then renaming files. So I'm constantly renaming Word documents, images, videos on my desktops, and it's just an extra step on the Mac, which I did not like. What else? I don't like, this is just small, very, very small, but I have had to change all of the font sizes on my Mac to make it bigger font. But the problem is when I see my file size, my file names, it gets like cut off sooner than on my PC for some reason, even though they're both the same size font, which sounds like a minor thing, but when I can't read the full file name of something on my Mac, it's kind of a pain. Okay, what else drives me nuts about a Mac? Okay, so you probably already know if you've done your research that on PCs, it's Control C, Control V, and on Macs, it's using the Command key and their shortcuts. So I did change my shortcuts on my Mac to act more like a PC. But I found that like if you do like Command C, Command V for copy and paste, which I use constantly, it's less ergonomical than where those buttons are on a PC or like any laptop. So I find just putting my finger on the Command C, like I have it's like tight on my fingers. It's not, it's just harder. It's slower than where the buttons are placed on a PC. Again, a small annoyance, but I use Command C and Command C or Control C and V constantly, and it drives me nuts. Also, something to consider is it also throws me off when I switch from my work PC to my professional Mac, is I have to remember, oh, am I doing the command thing or the control thing? Like I mess up because I'm working with two completely different systems. So that's something also to consider, is if you have a job where you are on your laptop 8 hours a day, it's just hard for my brain personally to switch from a Mac to a PC and then switch back and forth between the two devices. Okay, so we covered the photos, the file renaming. I do like the screen on the Mac. What else to know? Okay, another small thing, but on my PC, I can use Snippet. So Snippet is a really easy tool for just taking a screenshot of an image on your screen, marking it up quickly, saving it, and then sending it. I use Snippet a lot. On your Mac, you can take screenshots of the whole screen, and they do have Sketch, which is like their version of taking a screenshot of something, but same thing, it takes way more clicks to like get the screenshot. To edit it, you have to like export it first and then edit it, and like it's just too many steps. It is slower to use Sketch than it is to use Snippet. So again, minor thing, you'll notice one recurring thing with me is like I like to move quickly, and if something takes me an extra 2 seconds, which it does on the Mac, it just drives me nuts. Okay, this is also a big reason why I personally would get a PC if I were you. So I got my Mac and I got this so that I could hook it up to another monitor because I have to have multiple monitors. So one thing I noticed is that this Mac only connects to one external monitor. So whenever I am doing work, I only get this screen and my big screen over there. I am dependent on having two big screens and my desktop or my laptop. So that is a big enough reason for me not to get a Mac again, is if you're like me and you're working at home and you want two big screens as well as your laptop, you're gonna have to get a PC. This only hooks up to one external monitor, which is a big pain. I could get it to hook up to two monitors, but then those two monitors were duplicating themselves. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I have tried it, I Googled it, and it seems like it's just one external monitor. I already covered speed. As I mentioned, I think the speed of both devices is about the same. I talked about how I find the Mac easier to break. This screen is too big, but then the smaller one is too small. And I talked about how the Mac is faster to turn on. Okay, so what do I love about the Mac? So there are two features that I absolutely love about the Mac. So one is AirDrop. So I constantly am doing YouTube videos like this. I'm recording on my phone. It is so easy when I am done to just AirDrop it to my Mac computer. So with my PC, it was a big pain. I would have to connect my phone to my PC and then upload it, and then I'd have to like search through all of my files, especially when I am doing videos with images, like I do cruise videos, and if I'm airdropping photos from a cruise, it's just so much faster than searching through all of my photos on my cell phone and finding which photo to then drag to my PC. So AirDrop is amazing. It is great. I love that about my Mac is the ability to AirDrop. The second thing I love about my Mac is iMovie, of course. So the PC does have a basic video editing software. It's actually faster if you just want to like add captions to the bottom of a video. That worked for me. But if I want to add images, text, sound effects, things like that, I do find iMovie a lot better. Now, would I buy a Mac simply for iMovie? Probably not. As much as I like iMovie and it is relatively easy to learn, there are some things I still don't like about it. For example, if I want to add photos to the top right-hand corner of my iMovie, I have to go to Canva, get the photo in there, save it as a transparent background, save it to my desktop, and then upload it. Like there's multiple steps. And on iMovie, if I add like captions to the bottom of the screen, I can't easily change like the size and the placement of it. I have to use a different video editing software or just accept what iMovie gives me. So iMovie is great, but it does have limitations. Lots of people love it. That might be one reason to get a Mac, is if you plan on doing iMovies and then AirDrop. So that is very, very good. What else? So a long time ago, it was probably worth it to get a PC just to get Word, Excel, and PowerPoint included. Now you have to pay for it regardless. So I paid for it on my Mac, and then I have it on my PC as well. What else? Oh, but I will say I've heard from friends that do heavy Excel work that your Mac will limit you on what you can do in Excel. So one of my friends that does Excel a lot for work, he actually had to, or Excel for his personal use as well, he had to download an app on his Mac to then make it act like a PC so that he could do the Excel work that he needed to do. Now, I don't do any fancy Excel work like that, so that I haven't had that issue with my Mac, but it sounded like a pain. And then last thing that drives me nuts about my Mac is that if you ever on any other device to like close a screen, the buttons to close a screen are in the top right-hand corner. On a Mac, it's on the top left-hand corner, and I find it harder just to like move the size of the screens around. It like shrinks and gets big and bounces around where it just stays in one place on my PC. And just having to switch between, okay, on my PC, I close it in the top right, Mac, I close screens, web browsers on the top left. It's just kind of annoying, and the buttons are smaller on a Mac, so it's just not as fast to find the button. So in conclusion, would I recommend getting a Mac or a PC? If you do heavy duty like writing documents, editing photos, you want to be fast, and have the fewest clicks possible, I actually strongly recommend getting a PC. I know a lot of people are going to hate me for that. They love their Macs, but I personally find the Mac just to have too many inconveniences, especially for the price. For what I do, I just wish I had another PC for my personal use. I find myself still going to the PC when I want to do things versus the Mac. Now, if you want something that's just great for like basic email, basic functionality, the Mac is very, very pretty. It is fast, and it does have iMovie and AirDrop, which I think are great benefits. And it's pretty, and you can say you're a cool person with a Mac. But that is just my takeaway. I wish I had saved myself like $600 and had gotten a PC instead of a Mac, but that is just me. Leave your comments below on what you personally prefer. I do like my Mac, but I get annoyed with it continuously. And again, if you thought this video was helpful, please subscribe below. Thanks, guys.